few weeks ago, we packed up the van and we headed down to North Devon. We started this journey back in March when we decided to step away from conventional living and try to figure out what comes next. We've been exploring a lot of options, including van life, living on land, and intentional or communal living. And today, we're visiting one of the places that's been calling to us, and this is Berry Park. Berry Park is a small co-housing community set in 6 acres of land in a national landscape near the North Devon coast. It was founded in 2021 when a group of people came together with a shared vision to live more in harmony with each other and with the natural world. Good morning.
Good morning. We are at Berry Park in Devon, right on the edge of Devon. So if I do that, that's Cornwall. So we are visiting our first of hopefully many communal or intentional living spaces. I'll talk more about that in a minute.
Berry Park is an intergenerational community, which is something that matters to us because it feels like the idea of a real village. People at different stages of life supporting each other and growing alongside each other.
So this is a newly created pond to encourage more wildlife and biodiversity. And just down there is
Marshland Valley Nature Reserve.
So Marshland Valley Nature Reserve spreads like a finger right away from the van and would be amazing to explore. So we're in Berry Park's communal kind of space at the moment, which is really quite cosy. What things have stood out for you at Berry Park in our short visit?
The thing that immediately stood out is when we arrived is like how welcoming and like at home, comfortable at home we felt. That really stood out, like literally as soon as we arrived.
And I'd say that it was really nice because they were sat outside, which we love being outside, and they were just existing together, just kind of talking and enjoying life. It's really nice.
That was normal for them. It wasn't set up for us because we were coming. It's just what they normally do. Like the view, like when you walk into the garden, the view, you've got the view across to Cornwall is quite breathtaking, really.
I think the spaciousness of the rooms, because it's an old building with tall ceilings, each room is quite large, and we've looked around a couple of the flats and they're really spacious with amazing views from them as well.
Yeah, every single room's got a really nice view. I don't think there's any bad views. And so although it's flats and there's lots of little sort of self-contained flats and they've got kitchenettes and things in, it doesn't feel like individual flats either. It feels like a shared building, and people go in other people's flats and obviously invited and and just randomly walk in, but it's like quite open and welcoming. And another thing I absolutely love, I'm not sure if this is a common thing in intentional communities, is they've got kind of like a store, which is like a community shop where people can go and get essentials from.
It's like bulk food, so it might be like a big bag of oats and you weigh it what you want and you say how much you took and it comes out the price.
Yeah, and all sorts of things. And I just love that because like it's one of the things I kind of miss and remember from my childhood. It's like if you ran out of sugar at home, you went to a neighbour and you like got some sugar, and that creates connection, doesn't it? And it also, we're in a world where not everyone needs to own every single thing and have, not everyone needs a washing machine, not everyone needs a lawnmower, not everyone needs all these bits. So
The land includes a vegetable garden, no-dig fruit and vegetable beds, polytunnels, greenhouse. There's a small orchard and the beginnings of a forest garden. There's even their wildlife pond. It's 20 metres long and is fed entirely by the rainwater from the roof.
So there are about 20 people, I think, that live at Berry Park, and it's a multi-generational space. So children up to older adults, a variety of backgrounds, and a mixture of couples and singles and family groups, which makes it a really welcoming community space, like a family space. Very welcoming space to be in. Everyone's really friendly and open, and as soon as we walked in, we were welcomed and greeted into the space.
What draws us to intentional community, beyond the practicalities, beyond the shared resources and the lowered cost of living, is something it's a bit harder to name. It's the belief that human beings weren't designed to live behind closed doors, separate from each other, and navigating everything alone. Berry Park's vision is to build a healthy, resilient community based on respect, care, support, and sharing. To be a place where all are heard, to hold a balance between individual and community needs, to be an example of sustainable living. And it's one thing reading that on the website, and it's another thing walking into it and really feeling that vibe and feeling that they are embodying their vision.
Is there anything I've missed that stood out for you?
Yeah, in the grounds, there's a really nice organic veg patch in quite a sheltered location. It's just something I've always wanted to do is grow more veg, and we haven't really been able to do it in the garden we're in at the moment. So that's quite nice to see. There's, and it sounds really daft. There's a little tree, there's a big tree with some little chairs underneath it where people have obviously sat and kind of communed. It's just really nice. Like just little pockets of nature, I guess.
Yeah, and I think adding on to that, there is pockets of where you can tell people commune. So even though like there's the house and everyone's in the house, there's so many spaces where you can just be as well and connect and be out in the land.
Another observation for me, and I guess this would be a seasonal thing, but it's really windy. It's quite exposed. Not in a terribly gale force way, but I imagine if there was gale force winds, you'd feel it here.
And going back to the organic garden, there's also massive polytunnel, huge polytunnel.
Yes,
Um,
very well built, I would say as
yeah,
well.
and they're building mandala garden as well, which is it's going to be really nice to see how that evolves. It's like looking great already. Yeah, you can see the time that's been invested and the love that's been put into creating a space that works for everyone. So another thing that they use this amazing space for is they will do a music jam here. So they'll take out the tables and set up there, which is that's right up our street.
Love to be here for that. Sold?
I think the rocking chair might be a deal breaker.
One other observation I have, we're in a communal space, but there isn't a dedicated communal kitchen area or kind of dining space where everyone can sit together. There is a kitchen with a dining table and it can fit some people in it, but there isn't a space for everyone to come together around a meal per se.
However, one of the residents who's got the biggest kitchen does open up her kitchen for shared meals and communal meals. And it's a big enough kitchen to cook for that amount of people.
Yeah. And some residents quite rightly say sometimes the kitchen is the hotbed of conflict in communal living situations because of different dietary requirements or different cleanliness standards, etc. So
yeah, different
maybe it's not a terrible thing.
Time scales, yeah, people. So actually everyone having their own kitchens kind of removes that, but having that one shape kitchen as an option means it's available if needed. It's quite probably a good balance.
Yeah. Because the room we're in is big enough to have, well, a table set up behind us for a group of people, so it can happen.
Yeah.
So we had a discussion with some of the residents about like governance or how they communicate.
Yeah, and the way they run it here is they meet weekly to discuss, well, just, you know, each week I imagine there's different things that come up. And then when they have bigger projects, for example, like when they decide to do the pond or ongoing projects, they all meet together around that and work towards a decision, you know, where compromise, and they work out what projects they're going to work on for the next year, like by prioritizing certain things. Everyone puts what's their priority, and you can kind of from that then score what's the everyone feels is the biggest priority.
Another question I asked was the 6 acres of land, and I asked like how that works amongst the 20-ish residents. And basically, the outside grounds is classed as everyone's, so there's no I own this bit or I own that bit. Everyone owns everything. So
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how much money you've put in or what status you've got in that sense. You know, some people have put more money into this than others, but that doesn't impact how much access. Shared things are shared things. This is a shared space. The grounds are a shared space. Any facilities that are added are considered shared space, which is really good because it stops it being hierarchical and which can then start causing conflict. Whereas if everyone's got equity and equal access, it's fair, isn't it?
I'd say from the people we've met, there doesn't feel like there's any hierarchy. It just feels like everyone's just people living together. We spoke about Berry Park itself, but what about the surrounding area?
Well, yes, so it's in North Devon. We're 20-minute walk from the Southwest Coast Path. Can see the sea from here. There, I think I mentioned before, there's the massive nature reserve, the Marsland Valley,
which seems to be growing. It sounds like it keeps on getting bigger as well, which is great.
Yeah. It's quite remote. There's not much around here.
Yeah, I'd say we're probably 5 to 10 minute drive from the main A road, I would say. And
Yeah.
it feels quite remote.
And then about 20, 30 minutes from the nearest town. But it's beautiful countryside, like driving here, you're driving through like wooded valleys and
tree tunnels.
And
really old trees as well, like ancient.
Yeah, and it's not very developed locally, which is great. So you're not going through lots of housing estates, and so well, it's remote, but it's not completely cut off either, which I think is a good balance.
And we spent the night in our van, literally on the Southwest Coastal Path, on a bit of road, not on the path. And the views were just beautiful.
Yeah. If you've done any of the Southwest Coast Path, like, you know, we don't have to explain, you know.
Actually, we're dropping a picture.
Yeah. Not only has it got one rocking chair, it's got two. Like, I don't think we're going to top that anyway.
There's a challenge. Hello. Are you welcome to new residents?
Hello.